All right, guys and gals, so this video is for those of you who are just coming to the channel and you're asking, hey, what's this plant propagation thing all about and who is this Mike Kincaid guy? Well, we are in prime season to show you something really cool right now. I have a beautiful frame of rhododendron cuttings. And if any of you have been following me for a while, then you've seen that my passion is rhododendrons. I'm surrounded by them and I make garden tour videos of them every year. And people see how beautiful these plants are. And I'm telling you right now, there's a reason that they're in every major arboretum all over the world. And it's because they're just the most grand, beautiful plant with the most grand, beautiful blooms in existence. I'm a little biased, but that's how I feel about it. So people want to know, how do I root these cuttings? Well, the first thing that you guys need to know is they're not petunias. There is a little bit more involved in rooting them, but the cool thing is it's all figured out for you. So I'm going to take you out to my plant propagation frame, and I originally started this frame based off of readings that I had done, trial and error, just tons of work with rhododendrons, which tend to be a little bit more difficult to root. A lot of it has to do with patience, but a lot of it also has to do with the setup and the frame that you're using and the way that you're propagating these plants. Now, before we head out there and take a look, I am going to tell you, because I got to toot my own horn, several years ago, I put together 6 hours worth of video that details all of this from start to finish, where you guys can go to my website, buy into that series. It's $47 for the whole 6 hours, and you can watch from start to finish how I do everything I do around here on this property with rhododendrons and how you can be super successful with this, because that's my goal, to help you become super successful with this. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, this guy's just trying to sell me something, and really I'm not. The money I make off of that website pays for the website, essentially. There's really not a whole lot left over. And if you compare this to other programs people have that are charging hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, it's a one-time fee of 47 bucks. I really want you guys to be successful with this, and I put a ton of free content on my channel. But I really, if you guys want to be successful at this and you really love the rhododendrons, I want to encourage you to go over to the website. There's a link in the description. I think I'll have it up in the corner here, and check that out. Just get the website videos, watch them through. It shows you how I build my frame, why I do what I do, how it works out, and how you guys can be as successful as I've been with this rhododendron propagation world. All right, enough of that. Let's go out and check it out, because it's springtime and I'm excited to show you what we've got. All right, so here's my propagation frame, and you can see I have just got a bazillion rhododendrons in here. I'm gonna open up this frame real quick. This is a glass lid. I like this glass lid. I found it from an old sliding door. I think my dad had it and I brought it home, and this is what I use for plant propagation. But we have got a lot of activity going on now. As I've said in other videos, with rhododendrons, you want to take these cuttings in the fall. You don't want to take them in the spring. You got to wait until the wood is semi-firm and a little bit hardened off, and then they're just prime for taking cuttings and getting these things to root. But this is the cool thing about this frame right now that I want to show you guys. I have got tons of them taken. You never know right away if they're going to take until months later. So I actually stuck these cuttings last August, and they've sat in this frame all winter long, and now we're in the spring and you can see what we've got here. So we've got a ton of apricot fantasy. Now the blooms in here won't do them justice, because they're just trying to root. They don't have the fertilizer they need. They're not set in soil. They're actually a much more vibrant color once they're really established, but you can start to see what they're going to look like. It's an apricot color. It's kind of an orangey color. And I've showed video of that on my landscape before, but I know that these took because I've got a ton of new growth all coming up. Just beautiful little young growth. And yes, you can see little pellets in there. That's my fertilizer. I go over all of that in that video series, but I am really excited about this one. So this is Star Bright Champagne, if you can see that there. That's the variety of this one. And a lot of people have seen my landscape videos and they're falling in love with that variety. I think I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cuttings, and it looks like every single one of them has taken. We've got new growth coming on them. So I'm going to have some of those coming up here We've got Black Widow, Honey Butter. Really excited about that. I showed that in a video, the last video I posted, and well, maybe the last video, it depends on how far along we are, but it's got new growth. You can see the old stuff from last year where I cut the leaf in half. This is all new growth, and I know I've got roots down in there. Now I'll leave these in here for a whole nother season, or actually 3 seasons, because these will stay in here all summer. I'll just continue to water them. I lift the lid a little bit to allow airflow, and these are essentially growing on their own now. I just don't like disturbing them yet because the roots on rhododendrons are fine and hair-like, and you don't want to tear them up and set them back. So I let them grow in here and grow tough, strong root balls. And then they go through the summer, they go through next fall, they go through next winter, and then in the early spring, before things start coming out of dormancy, I pull these guys all up and pot them individually while the roots are tough and hardy. And then they just take off next spring. So it's a good solid 1.5 years in this frame, but that's just the way it goes. You know, if you want the best, you got to have some patience. Once they get in the pots, then they really just soar and take off, and they just start looking beautiful. You guys have seen these blooms in my tour videos, and you just can't beat them. In fact, I think I might add some of those little clips at the end of this video just so you can see absolutely how beautiful these plants are. And then every year you can pick and choose which colors you want to multiply. And that's the beauty of the wonderful world of plant propagation, and exactly where I started. I just became obsessed with the fact that you could take a cutting off of a plant and you could stick it in some type of a medium and get it to grow roots on its own and become 2 plants. Because we've got almost 10 acres here, and I needed a way to landscape this place without breaking the bank, because ain't nobody got the money, unless you're rich, to pay for the landscaping for, you know, the front several acres of a piece of property. And so I set out on a mission, and when I started diving into this, it became an absolute addiction. And I just thought, wow, if I can propagate these plants and multiply the ones I want, I can get all of the colors and varieties and types of plants and plant them where I want in my own timing, and really just develop and create my own wonderful world here behind those gates. And it is becoming an absolutely beautiful piece of heaven here for me, and you guys can have the same. You just gotta catch that fire like I did. And it's really easy to get addicted to this. All you need is a tiny little space. You don't need a whole lot, and I can teach you all that on this channel. I mean, I put out, I think I'm up to like 450 or 60 free videos on this channel to teach you everything I've done here. So just dive in and start looking into all that. Now, I think I've covered these little rhododendrons enough for now. We'll always come back to them. But the biggest, coolest thing is, before you say it, you don't need a greenhouse. You don't need a hoop house. You don't need any of this. I started all of this way before I had this structure here. This structure just gives me a little extra help, but I did not start with it, and I had tons of success without it. And I can show you how to do all that right on this channel. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe, get the postings when they come along, guys, and go check out the house build we're doing right now. It's a lot of fun. We're building our dream home, and I'm really getting into posting these videos for you guys and showing you how it's coming along. So anyway, I hope you guys liked this one. If you did, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to follow along. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.